My name is Rosem Morton. I am a freelance photojournalist. I'm based in Baltimore. I was born and raised in the Philippines. Previously, I was also a nurse, and now I also do a lot of education within journalism. So, this project that I have is called Guardians of Thitu. So, Thitu is an island in the West Philippine Sea, South China Sea. So this island is one of many. So there's a lot of islands in the area, and there's a lot of different countries that are trying to fight to own the islands, to have power in the area. So this island that the Philippines own is the only one in the area that has civilians. So civilians meaning not primarily military. So I really wanted to highlight what's the life like in this island to really tell the story of the region, like how are the people and how are the locals affected by the escalating tensions. This person right here, he's Romeo Malagit. He is a fisherman. So you see him like looking tense, and he's looking out at the foreign vessels on the coast that have kind of created a blockade, so he can't fish as far as he normally does. So this, when you turn over here and you see this other slide here, you see that all of these foreign vessels are surrounding the island and has really affected the local livelihood of the island. But the slide over here kind of shows the local life. So because the island is so remote, they have a very simple kind of lifestyle where they're based in the ocean, and fishing is their primarily what they're doing. This tree right here is their Wi-Fi tree. So there's a community Wi-Fi out here where a lot of people gather and spend their Wi-Fi. This photo down right here is actually from a typhoon in 2021. So it cut down all of the coconut trees, which are one of the main sources of food supply that they have over there. So it is a very difficult thing for them to live in this island, but it is a symbol of the sovereignty of the Philippines in the region in the South China Sea. So they've become a really large symbol of what is really the tensions happening there. And I did this project because most of the images that you normally see in this region are just heavily militarized, where all of these really big vessels are just kind of fighting. They're having like these water bombing each other, and that's all that's happening that we see in the media. But I wanted people to see what is the local life and how are people in the region affected. So yeah. So you can see the island is quite beautiful, and it's such a peaceful and serene place, and you don't really expect it to be kind of surrounded in all the geopolitical tension. And then this is kind of their livelihood with fishing. But because the island is small, they do kind of fish for the day, so they're fishing constantly, just because there's not a whole lot of storage solutions in a very hot place.
Is the language they're speaking, is it Tagalog?
Yeah, so a lot of people definitely speak Tagalog there. There's some regional stuff because there are some transplants, so it would be Bisaya, which is the other.
Were you able to communicate with them easily?
Oh yeah. So everybody there spoke Tagalog, and I speak Tagalog. So there's no translator needed. Yeah.
That's good.
I did forget to mention that I was born and raised in the Philippines.
You are Filipino.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes. Is there any questions from any of the?
Why are there like the little vessels in the water? Like why are they there?
Oh, so the vessels in the other water over there, so those are like the Chinese vessels. So they are kind of encroaching in the Philippines because of the natural resources in the area. So a lot of different countries are vying for power. And that's what's happening. And you can see here, like these people, they live a very simple lifestyle. They do not have the same level of resources, and that's why, that's kind of an ongoing problem with our country. Thank you for that question. Yeah.
did you decide to go there for this project? Like, what made you interested?
Yeah, so I have been trying to photograph this region since 2021. So we had lost a fishing site. The Philippines had lost a fishing site to China in 2012, and I photographed how that affected the local fishermen. But that project did not make it to like Western media. So I was trying to find different ways to really continue to tell this story where people can understand what is happening with local life and not just like the geopolitical aspect of it. Yeah, thank you. That's a great question as well.
What was one of the challenges you faced?
A lot. Thank you. That's a great question. So this project was incredibly difficult. I had to talk to the Philippine government. That process took 4 months. I had to get government clearance, so I had to go all the way to the Department of Defense. I had to talk to every branch of the military. So if you turn right here, you see the plane. This is the plane that I had to take to be able to go to the island. So it's a military plane, and that was the supply plane as well. Aside from the logistics of getting there, the weather was a really big part. So I went during typhoon season. So I had to cut my visit short, and they were like, hey, if you don't get on this plane, you're gonna be stuck here for another month. So I had to be like, okay, I'll take the plane. So again, this is gonna be the effect of really bad typhoon on that island, right?
Were you nervous like going there?
Oh, absolutely. I was absolutely nervous. And we also like had a tour, so we saw all of the different vessels from all of the different countries that is encroaching on Philippine water as well. Yeah.
Did you go by yourself or even with like people?
I had like I was with the military, but for this reporting trip, I was by myself. Yeah.
Oh, I got a question.
Oh yeah.
How did this trip change your outlook on life?
Yeah, thank you. That's another great question. Oh, everyone's good. I think when I spend time in these places, I really have a really big appreciation for all of the privileges that I have. Like even just basic water, running electricity, getting Wi-Fi. When I came home and had the shower, it was like the best shower of my life, you know? When I had because on this island, electricity shuts off at 11 p.m. till 8 a.m. So it was very hot, it was 100 degrees, and you just like have no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no way to communicate with people, and you really, really learn how to appreciate the small things that we really take for granted on a day-to-day
How long were you
basis.
over there for?
I was there for a week.
What did you shoot with?
I shot with a Canon R6. So I have I used a 24-70 and a 70-200.
How did the people react to you?
The people, they were quite welcoming. So a lot of them already knew that I was photographing the fishermen in like the region. So they were pretty like open and welcoming for me to stay. Normally they would have journalists come, they get flown in and they stay for like 5 hours. So I was the first journalist that was really staying there for a week, and they were confused. They were like, why are you staying here? But like I think they were really open to and happy that somebody really wanted to see like their life and join them. So I stayed in a house like this. I had like a homestay, and normally a lot of people would stay on like the military side, and I think they were surprised that I was like happy to like live with the community and be a part of it. So I think that's a really important part too when you spend time with communities, is to embed yourself as much as you can, and they really appreciate that.
How did you, what inspired you to become a photographer? Because you were a nurse, right?
Yeah. When I was in nursing school, like one of the ways that I kind of coped with the stressors was like having a camera and just taking photos for fun. So I just kept doing that throughout the years, and then like halfway through my nursing career, I wondered, can I, take this further? So I did both for a little bit up until 2022. So I was doing both nursing and photography. Yeah.
How do you find your stories? Do you reach out to editors and editors reach out to you? How's it working out?
Yeah, this is another great question. So the stories that I do are kind of a little bit, there's different pockets. A lot of it is like self-reflection. So I'm a nurse, so of course during COVID I did a lot of nursing stories about the Filipino diaspora, like why are there so many Filipino nurses in the US? So a lot of that historical and colonial ties was like in this project. I've done a lot of work on gender-based violence in kind of the coastal US. And then I really wanted to do projects in the Philippines, so I think ocean stories kind of became like my beat. And then I just get assigned like anything in kind of in the DMV area. So it's a hodgepodge of work, but if you ask about personal projects, it's really like threads from my own life. Yeah.
What outcome do you want from your journalism?
Ooh, oh, that's a really good question. I think the outcome that I want from the journalism that I do is really to allow people to really think about the work, that, oh, this is something I didn't consider before. Like, for example, like when I did, when I think about, Philippine politics, people often think that it's not part of the world stage, and, I want people to consider, this affects a lot of people because a lot of people across the world are going through the same things. Same thing with the nursing work, where like there is a stereotype that Filipinos are nurses, and but they're also mothers, they're also fathers, they're also siblings. So it's really, adding to the conversation that's already there.
You can pick one song that describes this whole project. What would it be?
Ooh, I wish I was that. I'm not that big of a music person to like know songs at the top of my head, but I would say a song mood would be like a beach vibe, where like, yeah, where like people feel very, like when you're on the island, it's very, very peaceful, right? But that's not the reality. So it's kind of that there's like that tension, but you as a person who lives there, you want to live your life and live well. Thank you again. These were incredibly wonderful questions, and I appreciate everyone's time and attention. Yeah. Thank you.